Okay.
You're the star of the show.
Hey, your words, not mine.
Hey, you're Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to one and all. Welcome to Episode 6 of the Small Tales Podcast. I am your host, Thomas Maynard. Today, you can see our set is a little bit different. We are not at ETV today. We are here for the next 2 episodes, temporarily, at 88.7 WNHU, the radio station for the University of New Haven, which brings me to today's guest. Today's guest will be JJ Dionisio, the 2024-2025 station manager for 88.7 WNHU, the student-run radio station for the University of New Haven. Let's welcome him to the show. Welcome to the podcast, JJ. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Would you like to introduce yourself to the audience at home?
Yeah. Hi, I'm JJ Dionisio. I'm a senior music and sound recording major with a minor in communications at the University of New Haven, and I am the station manager of 88.7 WNHU for the 2024-2025 school year. Does that about cover it?
That about covers it, yeah.
Great.
So we'll start off. Can you tell us a little bit about WNHU and its mission to the University of New Haven?
Yeah, so WNHU is a student-run independent college radio station that runs out of the University of New Haven. And our goal is to provide students with the experience and the opportunity to be on air, to do a podcast, and to learn just general media communication and people skills through doing radio shows, doing podcasts, helping at live events that we do around campus. It's really all about giving students hands-on ways to learn.
Now, the question I have is, we know how that benefits the students, but how does that benefit now the university itself, and how can that?
Yeah, so college radio was huge in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And going into now we are in the 2020s, though it's not as popular, it's still something that is valued at a university because it gives people the opportunity to express themselves in very unique ways, and it allows the university to advertise themselves to a wider audience because not only do we broadcast, obviously, through our FM signal to this area of Connecticut, even a bit of northern Long Island, but on our website, WNHU.org, you can listen to that stream worldwide. So a school that has a large international student population, they can listen to it. They can learn a bit about the school while they're in Bangladesh or India. They can learn about the school through just listening to our online stream.
Yeah, I think that is a good way to reach it to a wider audience. And one of the things that was sent my way when people heard I was applying to the university was go see the radio station,
yeah.
check them out, and see what you can do.
And let me tell you, I'm so happy that you are here and involved in doing all that you do.
Thank you.
For the station already. That is my favorite thing to see when first-year students come in, is that immediate just okay, how do I get involved? How do I do this? How do I make the most out of my college experience?
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do.
And let me tell you, you are.
Thank you. How did WNHU come to be, and how has it evolved over the years?
Yeah, so 51 years ago was when our station first went on air. So then even before that, it was a group of students that came together and wanted to make a radio station. And they did it all themselves. It was not the school being like, oh, we want to have a radio station. No, it was this group of students who wanted to have a radio station. So they drew up all the plans, physically built it. If you go over to Bartell's Hall, where the dining hall is and the alumni lounge and all that, on top of that building, there is a radio tower that was built by hand by students over 50 years ago. So they came together, recognized they wanted to do that, got all the licenses sorted, and they brought it to the school and they said, hi, this is all the work we've done. We're going to do this. Hope you're okay with it. and they did it. And here we are over 50 years later, still on the air, 88.7. It's so special.
What genres or types of shows can listeners expect to hear on WNHU?
I don't say this lightly. Literally anything. College radio is all about the diversity in students, whether that be where we're from, ethnically, sexual orientation, social views. College radio represents that musically. We all listen to different things. For you, you have your show, Classic
Right, yeah.
Fusion. You play classic rock. I love it because classic rock is so amazing, so amazing. And then we have Vibras, which is also on Fridays. They do Latin American music, or Latin and Latin American music. And then we have my show, The Kitchen Sink, on Thursdays, which is, you never know what you're going to get. It's different every week. We have also on Thursday, The In Between, which does like heavier music, a lot of like the modern metal and metalcore sort of realm of it. In the past, we've had people do like club type DJ sets with a bunch of different types of electronic music and house music and all that. And like there's a bit of that here and there on shows, but there's sometimes people who will just plug in their decks and do a live mix like you're in a club. There's literally everything on this station. If you want it, it's probably there. If it's not there, that's when I encourage people to come to me and be like, hey, I want to do this. Because there's always a place for you. That's what it is. There's always a place for anyone who wants to be here.
I think that's great, For me, one of my biggest worries coming into the station was I want to play rock and roll. I like a certain type of music. But that's not generally what I noticed that kids nowadays like to listen to. And,
Yeah.
I was like, are they gonna accept that I want to play that kind of music,
I would I will never say no to a student. Well, okay, that's a bad way of putting it. I will always find a way to turn it into a yes with a student. I will work with them to be like, okay, how can we get this from to a yes? For you, that didn't take much work. We pretty much for a long time we've had like unintentionally just like a student who's doing a classic rock show. There was one last year. I think there was one the year before that, but they just like didn't come back.
Right,
So
yeah.
when you said you wanted to do that, I was like, great. Because it's an important niche for us to fill. So a lot of people like classic rock. I love classic rock. So obviously sometimes I'll tune
Right,
into
yeah.
your show.
Thank you.
You were doing Toto back in November, early
Mhm.
November it was.
Yeah.
Oh, that made me so happy. That's one of my favorite bands. So I remember tuning into that just being so happy. So there is room for everything.
How do students get involved with WNHU, and what roles are available for them?
Yeah, so the best way for students to get involved is just to shoot me an email, and that is jdionisio, JDIONISIO @WNHU.org. You shoot me an email there, I'll get you plugged in. We have our weekly meetings. Those are open to all students. And then we do live events on campus, which you and I have both helped with before. That's like the best way to get involved with the station. And then you could do a show, you could do a podcast, and then we also have paid positions here at the station. And that's really if you first of all, if you like express interest about it, and then also if you're just kind of like going above and beyond with being involved and like you're at the meetings, you're a real active part of the station, and it's clear that you have a love and care for it. Those are also available. Oh, goodness. I'm just going to say that again. There's also paid positions at the station, and those are really for students who, first of all, express interest about it, and also just go above and beyond in general in their involvement here, whether that be with their show and the advertising of it, doing a podcast, helping with events, being at meetings, and just like showing a true love for the station. Those positions are available for people.
And I think people should be here and get involved as much as
100%.
much as possible.
100%.
That's what keeps us going. Could you describe a typical day behind the scenes at WNHU?
Okay, yeah. A typical day behind the scenes. So we're shooting on a Monday right now. So Monday is what we have as Alumni Mondays, or Alum Days, as we say sometimes, where we have a block from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. of all alumni hosts. So for those days on the airwaves, you're hearing anything from the Pop Shop with Don, which is a lot of pop and power pop. And then we have, I think before that is JD, Jack Daniels, doing Guitars Still Matter, highlighting the best of guitar music. And then throughout the day, we also have Pete Soter, who does metal, I think. And then there's Wayne and Damon. They're kind of all over the place as well. So that's like what it sounds like on the airwaves. What it looks like is you'll walk in, there'll probably be someone recording in the podcast room. Bruce will be in his office with the door open, just waiting for people to come in to talk to them. I'll probably be in the basement down in like our student meeting area, just doing whatever, whether it be like figuring out buying shirts for the station or planning our next big event or sending out emails to hosts, air checking shows. It's a lot of just us all here. And just like, we love it when people come in because then it makes my day a bit better because I'm just like behind my computer, just sending emails and checking shows. Or like, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting what a day is because it could be different. It could be, oh no, the automation software isn't playing the sweepers and now we're not getting our legal IDs at the top of the hour and like freaking out and then running to the station and going on like the big engineering computer and trying to figure out where things went wrong. Or it could just be like someone emailing me like, hey, so I can't find a pair of headphones. Then I'll just run over and like grab an extra pair of headphones for them. So it could be very calm or very chaotic, and it really depends on the day.
Right, because I remember back in early November, that same show you had mentioned earlier, right before I had played that group, the total that you mentioned, the UNH Wi-Fi across the whole campus went out. I clicked on the next song, and
you were just getting nothing.
Right, YouTube told me, you're not connected to the internet, and I'm like, uh-oh. So it took me 5 seconds to get connected, but anymore, I would have just,
turn the mic on,
and just started talking to the people,
It is interesting. Like with a live radio show, you have to just be so good on your feet because you never know what's going to happen. You could prepare for every single thing and then life will throw another curveball at you and you'll just have to think on your toes and figure out how to solve this problem.
Right, yeah. What skills do students gain by working at WNHU and how does it prepare them for careers in media?
Yeah, I'll talk about this within the context of our paid positions, because that's what I've been doing for the past few years. For me, it's helped a lot just with my general like management and organization skills. When I first started here, a lot of what I was doing was setting up meetings with every single alumni, like current student host. So that was alumni hosts and community hosts. And like me being at the time I was like 19, sending emails to these grown adults, being like, hey, like we need to have a meeting, and just like tracking them down and being on top of those emails. And then also during those meetings I had with them, yes, I am in their eyes a kid, even though, I was an adult, I was 19, but I was a kid. I was basically a kid. But I was in that position and I had to like establish that like, hi, I am the one in charge here, which is difficult to do. Not always in life is it going to be the people below you are younger than you. And I know that's not really something I think about ever, but I'm so happy I gained that skill and that ability to manage people who are older than me and more experienced than me and more mature life-wise than me. And especially when these people were doing things wrong. And I had to be like, hey, you messed up here. Here's how you can fix it. And like me having to do that to someone who has lived an entire life, who has lived like 2 to 3 more lifetimes than I had. So it's very interesting to gain that skill because that's not really something you gain without doing. Also just, I know it's silly, but it's so much emailing. And I feel like I've gotten a lot better at forming a professional email and staying on top of my inbox and the correct like formatting and etiquette to use. It's like such a little thing, but they really never teach you it. They throw you into it and they just expect you to know how to write an email, right?
Right, yeah.
So that's like one of the weird little things. And then also just general communication. I know that's such a broad term, but you're talking on air, you're talking on a podcast like this, you're emailing with people to communicate what needs to get done, you're leading the meetings every week, you're delegating the tasks to your other paid team so that they can then do their job. it's so much of people, so much of, again, station manager. It's a managerial position. And that's something that sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's not, but that's part of the job. And I feel like I've become so much better at being a manager and being a leader through my time here.
And one question, I'm not sure if we had mentioned it, was what are some of the paid positions available here at WNHU?
Yeah, so there's the station manager. That's pretty much the point person of the station. Yes, we have our general manager, Bruce Barber, who's amazing. He's a faculty of the university. But he tries to keep the spirit of the student-run nature of this station alive by being very, I don't know if hands-off is, because he's hands-on. He is very on top of everything. He's great at what he does. But he wants to make sure that like we're in the driver's seat as students. And that's kind of the station manager's the one behind the wheel. Then we have our program director. That's what I've done for the past 2 years. That's a lot more about the music being played, checking in with the hosts, having those meetings. We don't currently have a program director, which is why I've been training everyone. But typically they would be training the new on-air hosts and doing that onboarding process with them. And then a lot of the sweepers. And then the big thing is the air checks. Just making sure all of the hosts on air are following all of both our rules and the FCC guidelines. We also have a social media manager. They handle our Instagram, TikTok, all of that. We have someone typically as our webmaster is the title for it. We like that because it sounds fun. They just manage our website, make sure it looks tip-top, and makes any changes to it as needed. We have currently Jason Cole is our director of community arts and culture, something. He's just kind of been here. He does videos, but we gave him a fun title. But he's great. He helps just create videos to like larger, not like smaller scale like social media stuff, larger scale stuff. Station introduction video for the website, things about fundraisers. And in the past, we've had like a business manager, which is great, having someone who's like typically a business major who can help with more of that nitty gritty side of it, because I'm not good at the business stuff.
Me neither.
There's a reason I'm a music communications person. I work with people. I work with audio. I work with video. More of the creative side of everything, not the nitty gritty of the business. I'm like, that's not me. But I'm trying to think. I think that is about it. But the great thing is, and then music director. How could I forget? They run music committee meetings every week, which helps decide the music that we put into our automation software. But the great thing is, if you have interest and you have something you want to do for the station, we can make a position for you. That is what Bruce and I are really adamant on, is we can find something for you, whatever will help you in this current moment and help you build that resume, prepare yourself better for the future. Like, we can tailor something at the station for you. If you have that drive, have that passion, you're involved, and we trust that you can do something good for the station.
I think that all makes sense. I mean, I personally think that all students should be at least encouraged to, at one point in their career, even if it's for a semester or for a year, to have a radio show of some kind.
Yeah, a radio show, a podcast, right, something where it's forcing you to talk for an extended period of time, and not just talk, but like talk to something, if that makes sense. Not just like chatting with your friends, like sitting down and intentional speaking, which is what I see like podcasts as.
Right, yeah. And in my experience, I'm taking right now a communications class that's just basic general communications, writing emails, resumes, and things like that. And I think, personally, one of the, I guess, requirements should be, because it's open to all students.
Come do
here,
a podcast.
You have to. You should do it like, you should start a podcast on some topic. And that personally, to me, I'm not one to get up in front of the class like I had to and give a long big TED Talk type speech. But I would much rather the final project, for example, be come here, do a podcast, and your first episode is the final project, and you screen those at the end of the semester.
Yeah, I know my partner, I don't remember what class it is. I think it's like a psychology class, maybe. I don't know. They're a psychology major, but they also do like sociology and criminal justice class. So I don't know which one it is. But for their first big assignment, it was an essay. The second one was to do a podcast. And then from there on, the professor is giving them the choice to either write an essay or do a podcast for each of these assignments. And I think that's a great way to do it, because there's some people, like my partner, who much prefers writing. They're amazing at it. They work at the writing center. I don't know how they do it. They look at a blank page and they turn it into magic. I can't do that. I can do this. I can talk.
Exactly.
I can formulate thoughts and have a conversation with someone and make sure it doesn't die and that it continues. So I love podcasts for that reason. So I would then, if I was in that class, take advantage of the latter option and just do every assignment as a podcast.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Me too.
And I think that is like such an amazing choice to give a student. It makes learning a lot more accessible as well. Because for someone like me, I'll struggle in a class if all I have to do is write a paper. Because just for me, who I am, how I learn, how my brain works, I don't do well at that. So it's a great way to just include as many students as you can to do amazing in a class. And not feel like they're holding themselves back.
And I mean, for me personally, I kind of, since I've been getting into film and doing podcasts, I've been treating my writing assignments like a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, for example, in my English class, I had to write a huge long, we took the whole semester to write a paper. Every assignment was leading towards a big
Yep, was just
paper.
a little bit of the big paper, yep.
And when I was writing it, I kept thinking in my head, if this was a podcast, how would I say it? And then I would revise the sentences from there to make sense of the written thing.
So yeah, it's truly such a special resource here. And that's something Bruce and I have been talking about. Like, how can we, before students even come to this school, how can we advertise WNHU and show them how good of a resource it is? And we're trying to work with admissions to get at more events.
Does WNHU collaborate with any other student organizations or local radio stations?
So it's really just a lot of stuff on campus. Clubs can recognize student, like RSOs, recognize student organizations, or clubs can reach out to us to play music for their event. It's completely free for them, which is the best part about it. They don't have to go through hiring a DJ. And for us, we do it for free because it's just amazing exposure for the station. Because we'll be out in the quad or at like a big event for a club, and they could just literally fill out a form on our website and then get help to play music at an event. That's the biggest thing we do in terms of collaborating with other organizations.
What are some of the upcoming events, shows, or projects that listeners should look forward to?
Yeah, so when this airs for the holiday special, it'll be right at the end of our fall semester. So in our fall semester, we had a 24-hour radio marathon for homecoming. We did a live radio broadcast from outdoors on campus, just straight to the on-air 88.7 FM frequency, which was like really cool. But next semester, who knows? It'll probably be, we might do another 24-hour. We might do some themed radio days where we have all the shows follow a similar theme. That might be fun. We might be doing some fundraisers around campus, but it's really all up in the air right now. But I know it's going to be great, because for me, it's my last semester. I can't let my last semester be a flop. I have to make sure we go out on a bang if it's my final time with the station.
I think that's great, and I'm thinking more like I like the idea more of getting the station out there and being like, and it's great that we DJ and we should keep doing that and those types of things, but I'm thinking adding the more people who have shows go out and they play their show out in the university, out there, give people a chance to get rid of those worries that I had. Will they like the music that I play when they notice we play everything out there?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. We can look into doing those.
Yeah. For those interested in learning more or tuning in, how can people contact you or find more information about WNHU?
Yeah, so for anything WNHU related, you could go to our website. That is WNHU.org. And to reach me personally, you can send it to my station email address, which is jdionisio@WNHU.org. That is JDionisio@WNHU.org.
Thank you for being here. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure to get to talk to you and also just to get to know you over this semester. It stinks that I only have one semester left after this, but I can just tell you're going to do great things both for this station, for this school, for New Haven Communications, and for everything in life.
Thank you so much. Thank you for watching episode 6 of the Small Tales Podcast. If you'd like to get your business on the podcast, please email us. Make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to New Haven Communications. Special thanks to 88.7 WNHU and the University of New Haven for letting us temporarily use their studio space. We'll see you next time on the Small Tales Podcast. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll catch you next year.